All right, this is X22 report again, and a little bit about Barr and the deep state. Let's see what they've got to say.
Trump and the Patriots, they needed to bring all the pieces together, needed to educate the people. And this is a slow process because remember, the people have been brainwashed for quite a while. But people are starting to catch on right now. And Bill Barr is asking the question, if they knew everything was fake, why did they continue getting the FISA warrants? What was their agenda after they realized it was fake? And he's going after them, looking to expose their true agenda. We see Gina Haspel, the director of the CIA. She had a choice: either go down with the ship or provide information which Durham needed. And it looks
Now, she's a director of the CIA. What did she do with Durham?
like she is now cooperating with Durham. And we also see Seth Rich, the hack of the DNC server. All of this is coming back at them. We'll be talking about this a little bit later in this report. But first, I wanted to talk about Michael Bloomberg, who is running for president right now. We know that he was the mayor of New York. And The Intercept reported that Bloomberg, his campaign, contracted a call company named Procom, which runs call centers out of New Jersey and Oklahoma. Now, according to this report, two of the Oklahoma call centers are operated out of a state prison. The prisoners were required to end each call by disclosing the calls were made by the Bloomberg campaign. However, they were not forced to disclose they were calling from a prison.
Good.
And it looks like Bloomberg was caught. And he went ahead and he issued an apology after he was caught. And this is what he said. Earlier today, a news outlet accurately reported that a subcontractor for one of my vendors was using prison workers to make phone calls on behalf of my campaign. After learning this, we immediately ended our relationship with that company. Full statement. So he didn't know anything about it. Those people didn't know anything about it. And it is unclear whether or not those individuals in prison received any payment whatsoever. None whatsoever. Now, the deep state, they are...
So this guy brings out the point that they don't even know if Bloomberg paid any of these prisoners. What a schmuck. Shift. Radcliffe is really a sharp guy. He's smart enough to ask this great question. What is the relationship between the Schiff's staff and the whistleblower?
The transcript is classified secret, so Schiff can prevent you from seeing the answers to my question. And Radcliffe suggested that the whistleblower committed perjury by making false statements in his written forms when he filed his application with the ICIG, and that Adam Schiff is hiding it so he could protect the whistleblower from a criminal investigation. They're panicking. They need to hide all this, and they're trying all these backdoor ways to try to push their agenda. Remember, they're fighting for their lives. We'll be talking about this a little bit later. Q posted some more posts, and Q is letting us know that they are doing everything possible because they know if this all fails, they fail. Is this going to fail? Absolutely. Actually, we can see Joe Biden. He's a little nervous right now. He was being interviewed by a newspaper, and he said that he will not comply with a Senate subpoena in Trump's impeachment trial. And he's saying that, well, this whole thing is not about me. It's about Trump. It's about Trump being impeached. And I'm not going to cooperate. Well, then he kind of backtracked on all that, and he tweeted out the following. I want to clarify something I said yesterday in my 40 years in public life. I've always
And Joe Biden is backtracking, risking on with this stuff. He's going to find out he's going to have to do a lot more than he thought. So are a lot of these schmucks.
an article that names the alleged whistleblower. Trump retweeted a tweet from the Trump War Room. Trump also retweeted QAnon tweets with the hashtag QAnon. Those accounts.
This pretty simply says CIA whistleblower is not the real whistleblower. That's what Trump is saying in the war room. Wow. So who is?
Were taken down because they look suspicious. Very interesting. Why is Trump being censored like this? Well, Twitter's saying he isn't. It's just a glitch. But everything happens to Trump and the people who are following. And
Q is right when we should always follow the money. Look where the money's going. Where do these schmucks get their money from?
such elected officials. What would D's continue to push for foreign aid to other seas versus the homeland? What happens when the kickbacks dry up? M. Waters, $4 million house. Nancy Pelosi net worth $150 million plus. Joe Biden's son brother net worth tens of millions. Clinton family, $200 million. Pre-election, less than $1 million. Obama family, $40 million plus. Pre-election, less than $1 million. Disguised under book deals. Those who take are offered more powerful positions.
All this is disguised under book deals. That's why Trump said to look at some of these book deals. Where's the money really come from? It's all disguised under phony book deals. Who even knows if they write? Probably paid people write this crap and then they get all this kickback. Unreal. Will this question ever come up with the media? No. They'll never ask it. Q will. They never will.
The question. So, and Anon is asking, when will they ask the question if Q is real or not? Q said, something big is coming. So when will the mainstream media finally ask the question, is Q real? Is the mainstream media ever going to ask Trump?
No.
I don't think so. I think they're instructed not to ask him. And we know that Q has said that the issue might have to be forced. What is Trump doing right now? He's retweeting tweets with hashtag QAnon. Once Trump does this, those Twitter accounts are taken down. Why? Because the mainstream media, the deep state, they're panicking. They know what happens when this comes out. They know their entire conspiracy, everything that they wrote about, turns out to be fake. And I do believe that Trump is going to finally just going to have to come out and say it. Might be at a press conference, might be on the lawn of the White House. He might just come out and blurt it out. But I do believe if no one asks and he keeps forcing the issue, he's just going to come out and say it. And the mainstream media, the deep state, they're going to go into spin mode.
So he thinks Trump is going to come out and state it. He may. The fact is, it's got to come out. People have to know that this is a real source, a real viable source. He's pushing it, but no one is asking. They don't dare. You know they got their pants down and they're going to get their old butts kicked. Big time. I've told you before that Nancy Pelosi's son is into this Ukraine stuff and even worse. Drugs and extortion, abortions. You're going to see this come out.
Link to Trump, and Trump is responding to Constitutional Republic. Text Trump 88022, and it says, at OANN exposes those Democrats and the Ukraine ties, Joe Hunter and Nancy and Paul. Seems like it's a family affair. What's going on here? Pay attention to 113 in this video, as it has been removed from social media. So Trump says, wow, crazy Nancy, what's going on? This is big stuff. Q responds, they are fighting for their lives. Good people in place. So back in this post 3591, Q posted a video of Nancy Pelosi and her son Paul. This video showed their involvement in the Ukraine energy sector, and her son Paul is giving a little speech on what great work they're doing. Trump retweeted this, and in the retweet, the previous video in post 3591, there are parts of the same footage that have been used. And Q is saying that these people are fighting for their lives. They know what is coming. They were all involved in Ukraine. The clock is ticking down. And this is why they're pushing the fake impeachment so hard. Let's move on to post 3759. And this is the same post that we just saw. And it says, DJT, Donald J. Trump, retweets himself 2 hours later, driving the point home.
This is part of the tweet here. Let me go back here, clear this up. This guy asks the question, what do they do after the election? Why do they keep pressing for more of these positive abuses? They don't give a crap about us and the abuse of power and control. Now what does Barr say about this?
Cheat and steal from we the people, and they don't give a shit about us, power and control. Take a listen to what Bill Barr says.
Well, what I said is their case collapsed after the election, and they never told the court, and they kept on getting renewals on these applications. There was documents falsified in order to get these renewals. There was all kinds of withholding of information from the court. And the question really is, what was the agenda after the election that kept them pressing ahead after their case collapsed? This is the President of the United States.
So from this, Barr is letting us know that the FBI continued this, even though they knew it was fake. And what was their end game? What was their agenda? This tells me that Durham and Barr have already figured out their agenda. And it had nothing to do with what the FBI, what Strzok, Page, Brennan are trying to make it seem like. They were actually spying on Trump and others. Let's move on to post 3761. This is a Twitter link from TrueQ-Anuk11. And it says, CNN's Brian Stelter is calling out President Trump's RTs, his retweets, this morning of QAnon's account. He claims this is very unpresidential and is in full-blown panic mode about the president sharing the name of the alleged whistleblower. And under this, it says, hashtag We Are the News Now. Panic mode. People awake is their greatest fear. Now, they're very worried about Trump doing things that are not presidential. What does it even mean to be presidential? Presidential is how you're running your presidency. I mean, I think it's unpresidential.
It's unpresidential that he is not being controlled and run around by the nose, ring under the nose by elites. That's unpresidential. It's about time. This president's been run around like a bull that's got a ring in his nose, and they got a chain and rope to that ring, and they're just jerking the bull all over the place, and you go or you get your nose ripped off your face. Ridiculous. This is why they hate his guts.
To take taxpayer funds and money launder it and have funds come back to you. That's very unpresidential. But what's very interesting about this is this, once again, the mainstream media, they are not asking the question to Trump. It would clear this all up. Why are you retweeting the hashtag QAnon if it's a conspiracy theory? Why would you do that? They're afraid of the answer. That's why they're continually going off on this. This is why they're going around it instead of asking the question, to make people think that it's a conspiracy when it truly is not. And once again, Twitter is removing certain accounts, hiding certain things. Post 3762 gives us an...
The CIA director is in trouble, and she's going to get in more trouble before son Brennan's put her in there to protect his butt too.
Papadopoulos per sources, but 1, 2 she said it sounded like an FBI matter according to the IG report, which redacts Haspel's name. That would seem to pour cold water on the substantial theories that Mifsud was a CIA asset, as some Trump allies have alleged. Under this, it says Haspel made director for a specific reason. Brennan tapped directly for support. Brennan, class section division, pointing an arrow to spy underscore T, spying on Trump. If CIA was running black up spy underscore T, spying on Trump, in UK would Haspel, station chief, be informed and instructed? MI6, meetings with Durham. The only way to restore faith is through transparency and accountability. Haspel, as we know, was CIA station chief in London in 2016. Haspel was put in her position for a specific reason, to get the information from Brennan. Actually, she has access to all of it. Now, she could either go along with Brennan, hide everything, or cooperate with Barr and Durham. Well, she decided to cooperate with Durham.
That is big news. She's going to cut while it's good. She's going to split and go. Not going to bump her off. She's going to expose a lot of this crap with Durham. We'll see what happens. But I hope it's going to be a positive split. Things will be revealed and she'll stay alive and these things will be shown. I think it's going to come out regardless of what she does politically or financially or professionally.
And the mainstream media is panicking over this. They know that she has access to Brennan's communications. She knew what was going on during this period. Let's move on to post 3763. Gives us post. She knew what was going on during this period. Let's move on to post 3763. Gives us post 3762. And down below gives us Gina C. Haspel, Central Intelligence Agency career timeline, and gives her career from 1995 all the way up to the present. And it says down below, geolocation 2015 to 2017. Well, the job summary that was provided confirms that Haspel was CIA station chief from 2014 to 2017. So she was definitely there, like Q was saying, geolocation from 2015 to 2017. And she's cooperating with Durham. You think the deep state, you think Brennan is a little worried about this? Absolutely. And it's starting to show. I mean, just look at Joe Biden. I'm not going to cooperate with the subpoenas, and it looks like someone must have spoke to him, and he had to explain what he was going to do. This means they're panicking, because now they're blurting out things that they're not going to cooperate until their handlers, whoever it is, speaks to them, and then
DNC servers, CrowdStrike. Been warned about this.
Russia break into DNC servers. Why did FBI accept indirect evidence, re DNC servers, hack break-in by CrowdStrike? This is in bold brackets, Ukraine, from Ukraine. Why didn't FBI directly investigate DNC servers? Brackets bold, in hand. Download speed internal data, DL versus remote, with brackets 1. Gives us a link to Real Clear Politics. And this is Assange to Hannity. This is what it says. Hannity, can you say to the American people unequivocally that you did not get this information about the DNC, John Podesta's emails? Can you tell the American people 1,000% that you did not get it from Russia or anybody associated with Russia? And just to let you know, this is from 2017. Julian Assange, yes, we have said repeatedly that over the last 2 months that our source is not the Russian government and it is not a state party. Now, down below in this post, it has brackets 1 again, bold, and it says, how does one provide content to WL? Computer to computer. And it has another arrow, person to person. And next to person, it has the number 1. And WL, by the way, is WikiLeaks. And then below this, it says personal comms, brackets, bold, secured prior to release, with another one that's bold in brackets. The sources, and then there's an arrow pointing to feeder, which has the bracket 1, an arrow pointing to recipient with brackets 1. Interning for the DNC can be deadly. Who interned? Seth Rich. Does CrowdStrike possess government capability to trace break-in routes? No. Does CrowdStrike possess government capability, i.e. foreign intercepts? No. Possible to layer insert code CrowdStrike to designate intruder intended target. NSA data bridge, DNC CrowdStrike, bulk data collection. Matters of national security, highest level. FISA is only the beginning. The hole is deep. Now, CrowdStrike, they say they have the ability to do this, but they do not. They cannot track back any of this. And we know from Julian Assange, from Bill Binney, that it was impossible for Russia to download this information. Now, Q puts a lot of number ones next to certain things like person to person, not computer to computer, but person to person, telling us that this was an inside job. Also, personal comm secured prior to release, feeder, recipient, and I believe the one next to all these things, that is the evidence, that is the facts, it is confirmed. And I interviewed Bill Binney on the X22 Report Spotlight channel, and he confirms that it would not be possible for the Russians to hack the DNC. Take a listen to Bill Binney.
NSA has moderate confidence that the Russians hacked. That was in the ICA. The CIA and FBI had high confidence, and NSA only had moderate. Now, what that tells you, first of all, the only one that matters in that deal is NSA. FBI and CIA don't have anywhere the capabilities that NSA does. So NSA is the one looking at all these networks, and if any packets were transferred from the DNC to anywhere in the world, they would have at least one packet. And that's all they need to know where it came from and where it went. So the point is, if NSA had those packets, they would have absolute confidence on who hacked and who did and where it went, and when they did it and how much they got. So it's not a question of not knowing. The fact that they didn't know said they didn't have packets, said that the hack did not occur. That was my initial impression back in August of 2016, and that's what I was saying at the time. And so we immediately, back in July of 2017, we sent out an initial note from VIPs, the Veteran Intelligence Professionals for Sanity, saying, the rates of transfer told us that this was not a hack, it did not go across the Atlantic, and so on. And we had a number of individuals inside the VIPs who thought, well, it could be. They still believed it could go at that rate. That's because they were looking at their local networks where you could have a very high-speed transfer like gigabit lines. You could easily transfer that data for short distances. But you don't have a gigabit line across the Atlantic to Europe and all that. So that's where it falls down. So we said, okay, if you believe that, we're going to try and test it. So we did. We tested it from Albania, Serbia, the Netherlands, and the UK to see at the transfer rates. And the highest we got for that were from between data centers in New Jersey and London. And that was 12 megabytes per second. That's less than 1/4 the necessary transfer rate that we already calculated from the files that Gooser 2 had put on the web. So that told us that was not a hack. But all those the speeds coming down for those files all matched with a thumb drive on a computer. That was all compatible with that.
So the question is, why didn't the FBI examine the servers? Because they knew it wasn't a hack. It was person to person. Binney did the calculation. It wasn't a hack. Assange confirms with Hannity. And Q is now confirming that this is true. Let's move on to post 3765. And Anon gives us memes and has Comey standing in the woods looking up, saying, "Oh Lordy." And in this picture, up top, it gives us a little section here from a post, from Q's post, and it says bigger slam dunk charges coming, public understanding of events just around the corner. Now remember, people got really upset when IG Horowitz referred Comey to the Department of Justice, saying yes, he should be prosecuted for leaking Trump's notes or his memos, and people got very upset that the Department of Justice turned this down. Q back then told us that a bigger slam dunk where they have signatures, the facts, the evidence was coming. Now, under this meme, there's another meme of Comey and Mccabe standing behind bars in orange jumpsuits. They're both holding books. McCabe is holding What Happened. This is Hillary Rodham Clinton. And James Comey is A Higher Loyalty. This is written by him. And on the shelf next to them is 3 packs of Depends men diapers. And they're standing there in prison, saying that their time is coming. And Q is confirming they have a slam dunk case against them. Let's move on to post 3766. Wow. In this post, an anon.
Q is confirming that they got a slam dunk case against. Look at it again. It's Comey and this guy here. What the his name?
Bigger slam dunk where they have signatures, the facts, the evidence was coming. Now, under this meme, there's another meme of Comey and McCabe standing behind bars in orange jumpsuits. They're both holding books. McCabe is holding What Happened. This is Hillary Rodham Clinton. And James Comey is A Higher Loyalty. This is written by him. And on the shelf next to them is 3 packs of Depends men diapers. And they're standing there in prison, saying that their time is coming, and Q is confirming they have a slam dunk case against them. Let's move on to post 3766. In this post, an anon gave us an article.
So we just want to close this. Haspel and other people are cooperating with Barr and Durham, and this is all going to come out. So I believe it's WikiLeaks. That's going to come out and be a big thing. This thing on Q is going to come out too. It's going to be a big thing. All I know is a lot is coming, and this coming year is going to be a knockout. When time comes to elections, I think Trump will have a slam dunk. I don't think anybody's going to be able to push him out of office. And he's get his second term, and there's going to be legal charges brought against these individuals, and they're going to end up in prison. Some of them are. How many? Who knows? Roger Martin from Village, Montana. Good day.